Hi, it's a Lipstick Gal. Thank you so much for watching today. I wanted to show you this new palette that came from Sydney Grace. This is their Summer Days palette. This was something that I picked up during the Christmas and July sale, and it is full of beautiful tones. What's special about, I love doing that. What's special about this palette is that they had two different palettes, and three of the shades in here were deeper in the deep palette, and this is the light palette. So I love that they're thinking about versatility and making sure that this makeup item is available and accessible and usable for a wide variety of people. But I recently did a video using this, the Chase Your Dreams palette. I will link it for you right here. And if you don't already know, this is my favorite eyeshadow formula. So I'm just gonna start by grabbing a super favorite brush, which I need to clean. This is my Sonia G Worker Pro, and I'm gonna start in the shade Sandcastle right here, and I'm gonna start putting that in the crease. This is gonna be one of those really easy, natural looking eyeshadow looks. This is probably going to be a palette that I reach for a lot. What's interesting is this is kind of showing up, it has a pink undertone to this. I thought it was going to be more like a neutral tannish shade, and it definitely leans a little pink. When PR samples of this were sent out in early July, late June, early July, I started seeing some people that I follow on Instagram post images of this palette, and a lot of people, several, had problems with a shade or two arriving broken. I had the same problem. This shade Camping and this shade S'mores, these two, I think they're pressed pigments, arrived shattered in my palette. And the palette comes in a sleeve, and there is a thin layer of cellophane over this, but when I opened it up, it just was like everywhere. And what's great is I emailed Sydney Grace's customer service, and I said, and there wasn't even a place to put a photo. I said, look, I had two shades arrive broken. These are the two shades. Would it be possible, instead of sending out a whole new palette, just to send me those two shades? Because I discovered that one of these shades, this one here, was slightly out of its packaging, and I learned that they were magnetic pans. So underneath each of these pans is a magnet. And I used a really thin piece of metal just to kind of get it between the box, I guess the packaging, and the pan, and lift it out. No problem, super easy. The mattes I have discovered, I had not been buying a lot of mattes from Sydney Grace because what calls to me, like, I don't know, my husband would say, you know, very much like a crow going for the shiny things. I love the shimmers and the foiled pigments from Sydney Grace, and so I've been buying those as singles and really been super impressed with those. And it wasn't until I got their Enduring Love palette that I started using more of the mattes that are just gorgeous. I'm going to use this shade here. This one's called Beach Days, and oh, kitty cat hair. Goodbye. Like, my cat loves sitting up here, and all my brushes are constantly covered in cat hair. Ugh. I feel like I need to put them in a little clear drawer where I can just pull them out so they're not covered in cat hair, but that would mean I'd have to buy one more thing. So I'm just going to tap this shade right here on the outside edge to make this just a little bit darker. Still a matte shade, very beautiful, blends beautifully. I've noticed that I've been really drawn to the center column of shades right here. I've used this one, and this one's been calling my name. I might go with that, but I love that. And I was looking at the rest of them. These three shades work well together. These three shades work well together. I love it when palettes work like that because you can use them as trios. You don't have to use all 9 shades. I'm just using a small dry sponge to just kind of pull the eyeshadow from the corner of my eye up to the edge of my eyebrow. Make sure that we don't go past there. It also helps to clean up the look and lift. Not too much, just enough to kind of... So I am going to use this center bottom shade here. This one is called S'mores. Oh, look at that. Oh. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. I am so happy. I feel like I picked up too much of this. I'm going in with a little bit more of that first matte shade just over because I had so much shimmer. I picked up way too much. But it's so blindingly beautiful. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that first matte shade in Sandcastle and just buff that right here on the lower lash line. I'm going to take some of this shade here in Basque and just hit that like right here in the inner corner for just a little bit more light. It's just a little bit lighter than the shade I'd been using before. It's not a pressed pigment, but it's a beautiful metallic shade. And I'm going to finish it off with this shade here, Cherry Picking, and I'm just going to run a little bit of that lightly right along the oh, too much. I'll have to buff it out. Just right here on the outside edge of the lower lash line. So as I look at this palette, one of the things that I like is that you have kind of a coolish neutral here. These two shades here definitely lean a little bit more mauve plum, and this one more mauve, this one more plum, but they're really beautiful. And these two shades down here, the pressed pigments, are out of this world. I feel like I get some really beautiful shine from this one right here. This one's called S'mores. One thing that I noticed is that I feel like this shade here, this one in Beach Days, is actually more of a satin shade. It leans a little satin in swatching, and I didn't notice that as I was putting it on my eye, but it's beautiful. So it's not a complete flat matte, but you do get a nice mixture of 5 mattes and 2 pressed pigments and 2 metallics. Here are the swatches. This shade is very close to my skin tone, so it can be a little hard to see. This is Basque, Sandcastle, Break of Day, Daystar, Beach Days, Cherry Pickin', Blood Orange, S'mores, and Camping. And these were the 2, they're so soft. These were the 2 that arrived broken and they sent me replacements for. The other thing I'll tell you is not just did they replace them, they also sent me a separate single that I was not expecting to get. They added this to my order. This is in the shade Truth and Beauty. And I think they knew that I loved, I'm seeing probably looking back at my orders that I really love the pressed pigments. And they also credited my account $10. I love that they were able just to send me the replacement shades to put in here so that they didn't have to send me a whole new $33 palette. But everything was carefully packed. I think it's just the nature of these shades themselves. What's interesting is I was thinking about this palette. I started thinking about some of those rosier, mauvier tones, and it made me think of this. This is the Born This Way, the Natural Nudes from Too Faced. I love these more pinky nude shades that you get kind of like right in this area here. I feel like these are really beautiful kind of pinky nudes, but I don't like the formula of their more foiled or pressed pigment shades as much as these guys. I feel like there were some that were troublesome in here, but I feel like every single one of these swatched beautifully, and everything I tried on my eyes today blended well and is gorgeous. And I feel like you get the pigmentation you see in the pan. You definitely get what you see here on the swatches here and as I was applying them to my eyes. So nothing but love for Sydney Grace. I really like the Summer Days palette. I think I'm going to use it a lot. I might get more, I probably will use it more because it's more my comfort zone than the Chase Your Dreams. But this also, I had so much fun using, and I've used it since I tried it for the first time. So I do have other Sydney Grace singles. I have this double-sided palette here, magnetic palette. And there are, this is a bundle right here that I've had since last year. And then this right here is another bundle, these 9. But everything else, I only had 7 non-bundled singles, but I picked up so many. And I'm not remorseful, I'm not sad, I just can't wait to dive into them. So we'll do more videos swatching these guys, trying some new ones, and I hope this is interesting to you. Thank you so much for watching today. Let me know, when you are choosing eyeshadow palettes, do you go based on a brand that you love? You know that you always work, you know, brand A always has exactly the formula that I want. It always blends well, it always works well, and I always feel like it's an investment well made. Or if you are pulled in more by, oh, that looks interesting, oh, look what they're doing over there, do you kind of less for formula and more for what looks interesting at the time? I am known for doing both, but I went hog wild during the Christmas and July sale. I spent a lot more than I intended to, but These were free with a specific amount of purchase, $55 on specific days, as was, you might see the little pink bag here in the back, their mystery bag. You spent $55. So I got a lot of stuff that was free, but I really focused on getting eyeshadows in different tones, warmer greenish tones here, cooler pinkish tones here, that I knew I would like and I would use. So you'll see more of these guys later, but let me know, how do you pick your eyeshadow palettes? Do you pick them based on what's bold or what's interesting or what's the buzz, or do you go based on brand and formula and what you know you already love and are willing to invest more in? Thank you for watching. Thank you for being subscribed. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.